Most people think $50,000 is a lot for a wedding. But for Julian Thorne, $50,000 was just the price of the champagne he poured over his assistant's head to prove a point. He thought he could break her. He thought she was a charity case in a thrift store blazer. But tonight, at the Billionaire's Gala of the Century, Julian just realized two things. One, his bank account is currently sitting at zero. And two, the poor assistant he just fired? She's not here to take notes anymore. She's here because she owns the building. And that $2,000 dress she's wearing, it's made of the very diamonds Julian's family lost in the heist that started this whole mess. Meet Maya. To the world, she was the invisible girl, the one who fetched the sugar-free lattes at 4 a.m. and took the blame when the stock prices dipped. She lived in a cramped studio in Queens, wore shoes with worn-out soles, and never said a word when Julian Thorne, the Prince of Wall Street, used her as a human footstool. Julian was the kind of rich that makes you want to wash your hands after talking to him. Old money, new ego, and a heart as cold as the marble floors in his penthouse. He hired Maya because she looked grateful. He liked people who were desperate. It made them easier to control. Or so he thought. The cracks started appearing on a Tuesday. Julian was preparing for the Founders Gala, the most exclusive event in New York. He wanted Maya to handle the logistics, but there was a catch. He told her she had to attend as his help, wearing a literal maid's uniform to serve his guests. Julian, it'll be good for your character, Maya. It reminds you where you come from. Besides, you couldn't afford a ticket to this event if you saved for 3 lifetimes. Maya didn't flinch. She just nodded, her eyes fixed on his computer screen. I understand, Mr. Thorne. I'll make sure everything is unforgettable. That was the first red flag. Maya was too calm. She started asking weird questions about the Thorne family's private trust. She was spending late nights in the archives. And Julian? He was too busy smelling his own cologne to notice that his poor assistant was suddenly the one signing the delivery slips for the most expensive jewelry shipments in the city. The week of the gala, Julian's behavior went from arrogant to demonic. He accidentally dropped his gold watch in a trash can and made Maya reach in to get it. He invited his elite friends over and had Maya stand in the corner holding a tray of appetizers for 6 hours without moving. Julian's friend. Where'd you find her, Julian? She's like a statue. Julian. Found her in a community college library. She was eating a tuna sandwich. I'm basically a saint for giving her a paycheck. Then came the coffee incident. Julian claimed his espresso was too hot and threw the cup at Maya's feet. The hot liquid splashed her cheap polyester skirt. He laughed and told her she looked improved. Maya didn't cry. She didn't scream. She simply wiped the coffee off her leg and checked her phone. A notification had just popped up. The transfer is complete. The board has voted. It's time. The night of the gala arrived. The red carpet was swarming with paparazzi. Julian arrived in a custom tuxedo looking like $1 million, which was ironic because his CFO had been trying to call him for 3 hours to tell him his credit cards were being declined. Julian stood at the top of the stairs, waiting for Maya to arrive in the maid's outfit he'd ordered. He wanted to see her humiliated in front of the cameras. He wanted the world to see his pet. Suddenly, the crowd went silent. A sleek, midnight black Maybach pulled up. The door opened, and a leg stepped out. Not in a maid's uniform, not in polyester. It was Maya. She was wearing a gown that literally looked like it was woven from starlight. It was a custom-made, hand-stitched masterpiece encrusted with over 5,000 raw diamonds. The value? $2 million. She walked past the velvet rope. The security guards, the ones Julian paid, didn't stop her. They bowed. Julian lunged toward her, his face turning a shade of purple that matched the decor. Julian, what the hell do you think you're doing? Where did you steal that? "Security, arrest this woman!" But the security didn't move. Instead, a man in a gray suit stepped forward. It was Arthur Vance, the CEO of Thorne Holdings, Julian's boss. "Arthur, Julian, shut up. You're embarrassing yourself." "Embarrassing myself? She's my assistant. She's wearing a stolen dress." "Actually, Julian, she's the owner of the dress. And as of 20 minutes ago, she's the majority shareholder of Thorne Holdings. She didn't steal anything. She just bought the debt your father spent 40 years hiding." The room went cold. Maya stepped closer to Julian, her heels clicking on the marble. She looked at him with the same grateful smile he'd mocked for months. "You told me I couldn't afford a ticket to this event, Julian. You were right. So I decided to buy the whole building instead. It was cheaper than paying your ego's taxes." Maya turned to the crowd, the diamonds on her dress blinding the cameras. She announced that Thorne Holdings was being rebranded, and the first order of business, a total audit of Julian's personal expenses.
Julian was ruined. He was escorted out of his own gala by the very men he'd hired to protect him. He was stripped of his titles, his cars, and his dignity. He ended up in a tiny apartment in the Bronx, the same kind of place he used to mock Maya for living in. A month later, Julian sat in his dark room, scrolling through news of Maya's success. She was the new queen of tech, a philanthropist, a visionary. He heard a knock at the door. It was a delivery, a small velvet box. Julian opened it, thinking maybe, just maybe, Maya was reaching out to hire him back, even as a janitor. Inside the box wasn't a job offer. It was a single tiny diamond, the one that had fallen off her $2 million dress at the gala. Underneath the diamond was a DNA test result and a newspaper clipping from 20 years ago. The headline, "Billionaire Thorne flees scene of hit and run. Mother of 6 killed." Julian's heart stopped. The DNA test showed the diamond wasn't just a diamond. It was a synthetic gem, created from the ashes of a human being. Maya hadn't just bought his company. She hadn't just humiliated him. Maya was the daughter of the woman Julian's father had killed 20 years ago. She had spent 10 years tracking down his father's remains after he died in prison. She had used her first millions to turn his father's carbon into diamonds. The $2 million dress, it wasn't made of wealth. It was made of Julian's own father. Maya didn't just want his money. She wanted him to watch her wear his family's sins to the biggest party on earth. Julian dropped the box. The diamond rolled under the radiator. He realized then that Maya never wanted to be his assistant. She wanted to be his judge, his jury, and his executioner. She wasn't a poor girl who got lucky. She was a ghost who came back for everything. And the scariest part? There are 4 more diamonds missing from that dress, and Julian has 4 siblings left. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories where the rich get exactly what's coming to them. See you in the next one.